Well, hello, guys.
Hi.
It's us.
It is us.
From the future.
And it's you.
And it's you. We decided after recording this episode that it was very long.
We had a lot to say.
We did have a lot to say, but instead we have decided to split it into two parts. So you get two for the price of one.
You're spoiled.
You're very spoiled.
You're welcome.
So this is going to be part one of episode 200.
Yes.
We hope you guys enjoy.
What they discovered upon their arrival was almost unspeakable.
We are all evil in some form or another. I'm not guilty.
The dead won't bother you. It's the living you gotta worry about.
If I couldn't keep them there with me whole, at least I felt that I could keep their skeletons.
Hello and welcome to the Bad Taste Crime Podcast. I'm Rachel.
I'm Vicky.
Yes.
And it is our 200th episode. Oh no, I didn't turn my button on.
Oh my God. Yay!
Woohoo!
We did it.
We did it. And we have some very exciting things planned for this episode. First off, before we get too far into things, we have a special guest in studio with us, Mr. Michael Wanfalt.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. I'm very excited.
So Wani has been a friend of the show for a very long time.
Yes.
You, in fact, were our in-the-field reporter in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sending us
Watch.
all of the meat crimes.
Yes.
That was me. Meat watch.
Yes. Meat watch. Yeah.
Very protein-based crimes.
We thought we'd bring you in to celebrate our 200th episode with us.
I'm so excited.
Yay!
I can't
wait. And what that entails is yet to be seen. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Dun.
Yeah, but first, let's head over to the newsroom.
Fit to breathe, our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad.
This week, our news comes from Sydney, Australia.
Ooh.
Okay.
Good day, mate.
It's about a science nerd.
Okay.
So have you seen those things that are like big 3D diagrams of the periodic table of elements, but they have all the elements in them? Like the actual,
No.
Have you ever seen those?
I don't think so.
Like, in, like little boxes?
Yes.
Oh.
I've really only seen them in
that's,
like museums and
interactive or
things.
something?
No.
It
They're
sounds
just like for a
something that would be in a
display.
museum.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I've seen little versions of them, but I think most of the time they're in museums. So there is this 24-year-old guy, Emmanuel Liddon, who decided he wanted to collect all of the elements on the periodic table.
Okay.
Nerd alert.
Wait, I heard about this.
Yeah, and he has been arrested and could be looking at jail time
For being a nerd.
Yeah. No, because he breached a nuclear non-proliferation law by shipping samples of plutonium
Oh my God.
to his parents' house.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Those poor parents.
He's just living at home and like plutonium is showing up to the house.
It's just glow in the dark.
Is everything okay?
Yeah,
It's just drugs.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's not plutonium. I'm just doing drugs.
This is what acid does to you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It makes you glow in the dark.
Yeah. So now he is looking at a possible 10-year jail sentence.
Oh my God.
And the sentencing will be on April 1st. So it'll happen after we record this, but before this episode comes out.
So
So
I have
going
a
to
question.
jail.
Yes.
Did they know who sent him the plutonium?
Ooh. He ordered
let's
it.
see.
Plutonium R Us.
Let's see. Does
That's
it
a good
say?
question, because like, where do you even get plutonium?
Who's
Yeah.
willing to ship plutonium through the mail?
to Australia.
Yeah.
Where it could infect kangaroos.
So it says that collectors seeking illegal material created a market that might not have otherwise existed, the court was told. Hold on.
Ooh. It's
looking
like
to
a
see.
nerd black market.
It really is. And they're like, it wasn't that much plutonium. It's like one of the
That's
arguments, like it's
right.
just a small quantity. But I'm not sure if they know where
Some
he got
kind
it
of
from.
like
Yeah.
crazy distributor.
It just
or
says that he
something.
imported
Wow,
it. Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I mean, If you were ordering plutonium, would you first think, let me double check the laws on shipping plutonium to my house? Or would you just order it? Would 24-year-old you think
Does it have free shipping? Is
Amazon.
the question. Yeah.
Amazon plutonium. Amazon Basics plutonium.
If you're going to order plutonium, make sure it's organic. Sure, it's ethical.
Yeah, I don't know where you get that from.
Free range plutonium.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we are going to move on to Netflix and Kill, where this week is a Max and Kill. It is A Body in the Snow, The Trial of Karen Reed.
Oh.
Have either of you been following the Karen Reed trial?
No, but
I don't know anything about it.
Yes.
So we're going to talk, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about this in depth a little bit later, but it's this woman who is accused of basically running over her boyfriend with her car in the middle of the night on a snowy night after dropping him off to a party at like 2:00 in the morning at their friend's house.
Okay.
After she dropped him off, they're alleging that she ran him over with the car and then like went home and then came back and pretended to find his body later.
No.
This is what the prosecution is alleging.
Right.
The trial is currently ongoing. She is on her second trial. Their first trial was a mistrial, like a hung jury.
Okay.
I hate when that happens.
It is the wildest story, but this is a very like Michael Peterson move where she let the documentary crew come in for the whole thing of her like preparing with her attorneys and like going to court during the first trial.
Oh, that's
Okay.
really interesting.
The whole thing. Well, it is really interesting. And this is one of, I have a bit of a qualm with this because I'm like, she's going to a second trial, obviously. And I feel like releasing something like this could potentially taint a jury pool. Oh. And I'm sure it is something they are going to or have already addressed.
For them being like impartial.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I
Right.
see.
And I'm like you could have waited.
Yeah.
But then I know there's a thing with like studios. They want to be the first to like, because this
Right.
is
Yeah.
the first Karen Reed documentary that's
Okay.
been put out there.
Hot on the scene.
Like I said, we're going to talk about it in depth a little bit more. This was very interesting though, just having the inside look in her defense and kind of where she's coming from. And I will say she is very personable.
Okay.
She is very, convincing in a lot of ways.
All right.
She's like, I didn't do that.
There is,
It was not
there's
me.
enough questions in the investigation that it's like,
Plausible deniability.
Yeah.
it's a crazy case. It is a
Really?
crazy case. Yeah. So you can check that out. It is on Max. It's called A Body in the Snow, The Trial of Karen Reed. I definitely would suggest it. It's 5 parts, I think.
5 hour long.
5, I believe. Yeah. 1 hour each.
Okay, cool.
Limited.
Yes. I don't.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know if she is also having them follow her during the second trial because why wouldn't she?
Yeah, I was going to say probably.
So
probably
that
helping
maybe
her
there will
cover
be.
costs.
I haven't seen anything yes or no either way, but like there could. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a season 2 where
Yeah.
she like had them following her during the second trial. So
Yeah.
anyway, you can check that out.
Dang.
I might.
Yeah. This is actually part of the show where we say content may not be appropriate for all listeners. We're going to be talking about a very wide array of things today in general.
Yeah.
So just it's a general warning.
It's a little bloody and gross in here.
Yeah.
So.
But it's going to
Is
be
it?
fun.
Just a little.
It's going to be really fun.
Just a little.
It's going to be really fun because we had to do something special for our 200th episode.
Of course.
And those of you that have been longtime listeners of the show, the first time we actually did this was in 2017 in episode 53. It was an anniversary episode, and we did a top 10 basically of our most interesting cases, the cases we're the most drawn to.
Yeah.
I always hate to say our favorites because like
I know. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
do I love this grisly murder?
yeah, right.
It's my
I mean, I like
fave.
it. I find it very interesting for
Yeah.
specific reasons, but basically a top 10.
Yes.
So we did this back in 2017. You have never done this on the
I have
show.
not. I'm a virgin.
And I thought it would be really fun to
Yeah.
kind of get together, have Wani come join us because
Yeah.
you're definitely going to know a lot of, at least a lot of
Totally.
mine.
Oh, yeah. No,
for
mine
sure.
are very.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't even know what you two have.
I know. And
So it's a surprise for me too.
Yes.
the choices are vast. Like it could be anything. And for me, having already done this a lot, I was actually really surprised by how much of my list had changed.
Oh, yeah, true.
And I wasn't planning on making as many changes as I did. And then I looked at it and was like, oh. But it's also kind of interesting to see how fluid this list is because it just changes over time. So before we get too far into it, I wanted to ask you, Michael, was there like a case that sparked your interest in true crime? Was there like one thing that was like, this is the case that I kind of go back to as the first one that really...
Aside from all the meat crimes.
Well,
besides meat crimes.
like the first big one that I remember when I was like a child was the John Benet Ramsey case.
Oh, yes.
That was like the first big one
Okay.
that I remember.
I mean,
That was everywhere.
as a starter case,
Yes.
that is like, I mean, yeah, it was everywhere at that point in time. Oh my gosh. So you remember, like, I remember seeing all that stuff on the TV as it was happening.
Yeah, it
as a
was
kid.
going on for like weeks.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Interesting. I always like to ask
a good one.
people who come on the show that question because, again, it's a very, like, the answers that we get are very broad.
Yeah, it's
You know
almost
what I
so
mean?
interesting to see like what people's like first one was.
And
where they're
it
like,
definitely
"Ooh."
depends on the age of the person, too.
Absolutely.
Because that was a very
Right.
90s
Yeah.
90s deal.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. So I want to start off really quickly before we get too far into it with some honorable mentions.
Yes.
Okay.
Because as I said, there were things from my list that are no longer on there, but I still want to give a little shout out. And I know you had some things that were like harder decisions. So
You just mentioned one of mine. She didn't make it on my list. But
Really?
she would have been on it. Yup.
Oh, good.
Yup.
wow.
Yeah. I was such like a kid where like I never watched like the news. I was very like a cartoon kid. So I don't remember seeing any of the coverage like until I was older. But I remember just being like fascinated. I mean,
Yeah.
this poor
It's a
little
wild
girl.
story.
It's
Yes.
so crazy.
Yes. Yeah. I am honestly kind of surprised.
Because it's a
That
kid.
didn't. No, because there's a lot of elements to that crime that you gravitate towards, and it's things that are like kind of conspiratorial, things that are a
you're
little
surprised she
more
didn't
like.
make it onto the list.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm surprised she wasn't on your list.
That's true. Yeah, see,
Like
it was hard. It
It's
was
a
hard to narrow
very.
it down.
It's one of these like
I had a
very
hard
like
time with this.
mysterious cases.
Yes.
Yeah. One of mine, and she was actually. This one is. I was surprised myself, honestly, by this
Yes.
one because this was previously number 2.
And it's not even on it
wow.
anymore?
It is not on my list anymore.
Oh, wow.
But I have to
Whoa.
mention it because it is one of my favorites. Mary Vincent.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know much about Mary Vincent.
So she is literally the most badass person
Yeah.
ever.
All right.
She was hitchhiking across California. She catches a ride with this guy named Lawrence Singleton who raped, sodomized her. She was almost murdered. She had her arms chopped off.
What?
And was thrown over a cliff.
What?
And she's left to die.
Holy
but
shit.
she fucking doesn't die. She stuffs mud in her nubs and she climbs back up the fucking hill.
How?
And she flags down some passerbys.
It's like a cliff.
Yes.
What?
Scaled it.
Yeah, with her arms chopped off.
Yeah.
And survives to face the attacker in court.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a great
Isn't
fucking
that
story.
crazy?
Yeah, the court decision was kind of...
It was bullshit.
Yeah, it was bullshit, but it's just like the...
The indomitable human spirit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
very that.
Completely.
The power of woman.
Yes. Very
like,
that.
she was like, I'm coming to take
She was
you
like,
down.
oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm not laying down.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
just an amazing story. So I always feel like I have to mention
Absolutely.
her specifically because like...
That's a great one.
Yes, yeah. Did you have any other honorable mentions?
I feel
that were
like
not on your list?
mine were mostly like I'd put one on and then I'd be like, does the Salem witch trials count? Is that true crime or is that history? I'm such like a history
I
nerd.
see. Honestly, I do see it lumped in with true crime a lot.
I do
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of that was things like that, like what is it, the Roanoke
Ooh.
mystery?
Yeah, I love that mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which honestly, it's not a mystery
Yeah.
because all of the local Native American tribes are like, no, we told you what happened.
Yeah.
You just didn't listen to
Yep.
us.
Jesus
Yep.
Christ.
Like when they
Okay.
came back and they were like, look at all of these Native children who have blonde hair and blue eyes. And they were like, where did they come from? And the Native Americans are like, yeah, they came from Roanoke. And they're like, where could it be? It's a mystery.
Oh
like,
my
just
God.
listen to what they're fucking telling you.
Yeah, right, right.
Terrible.
Oh my gosh.
But like very that. Like it was
Okay.
hard for me to be like, is this a historical event? Or is this true crime? You know? It's kind of like a fishy.
Yes. Yeah. So I have 2 other honorable mentions.
Okay.
Yeah. One of them is Eileen Wuornos.
That's one of
Okay,
mine.
all right.
She was previously number 7 on my list. She's not on my list anymore. But she is just like,
She's on my list.
she's one of the most interesting female serial killers, I
Yes.
think, because she claims that every single one of her victims had like attempted to rape her or had raped her as a sex worker. And everything was in self-defense. And just like her whole thing, her whole vibe.
There's a lot of
vibe.
footage of her like talking to cameras and doing
Yeah.
interviews. That's I think what makes it so interesting is we get to see like what she has to say. You know? Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
She's just like, I don't know. She is just I just find her whole deal very interesting.
I'm not saying too much because she's on my list.
Okay, I will not say too much more. Yeah,
But
I will not say too much more.
Spoiler alert.
The other one is actually Karen Reed. We talked about her in the beginning of the episode.
Okay.
So I'll give you guys just a little background.
Sure.
So she's accused of murdering John O'Keefe. Again, this one is previously unlisted because this recently happened.
Right.
Okay.
And the trial is currently ongoing. I'm honestly predicting it is going to be one of these cases that people just like talk about forever.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an obsession.
Yeah, because I don't honestly know that we will definitively get an answer to what actually happened.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those cases.
So I actually am glad you brought that back up because I have a question related to the running over part.
Okay.
Is there only one set of tire tracks?
Okay,
Or did she
so
run
here's
over
the
him
thing.
multiple times?
Okay,
Good
so here's the thing. Let me tell you. Okay. So on January 29th, 2022, the body of John O'Keefe was discovered outside of the friend's home after he had been dropped off for a party in the evening. They had like been out at the bar and already drinking and decided the friends were like, come over to our house. We're going to keep party going.
Right.
And he had been dropped off to go in and like see what was going on.
Yeah.
So he had been dropped off by Karen Reed, his girlfriend. Reed was the next day arrested and charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter, motor vehicle homicide, and leaving the scene of a deadly crash.
Oh, shit.
She has consistently proclaimed her innocence.
Okay.
And her defense team is alleging a cover-up by the Boston police because her boyfriend was a Boston police officer. And a lot of these friends were Boston police officers.
I remember this story now.
Yes.
Yep.
Her first trial ended in a hung jury in July 2024. The second trial is scheduled to begin April 1st. So it'll be, again, after we record this, but before this episode comes out. So it will have just started.
So crazy.
Definitely gonna watch that.
Yes.
You guys have to, because again, she is, as a person, very convincing.
Yeah.
The things that they are suggesting and the evidence they found, there's evidence of a broken taillight in the car that she was driving.
Okay.
But the weather that night, it was like blizzard conditions.
Yeah.
It was crazy blizzard conditions. So like tire tracks and stuff, the snowplow had gone by. Like, you know, like the snowing would have covered all of that up. When they first got there, they were, because they had to like call in a larger police. I can't remember if it was the state police or if like a larger police force in to help them with the crime scene. But they were using like a snow blower to or a leaf blower to like blow all the snow off to like
And all
find
the
things.
evidence off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is like there's a lot of elements
It's
to
kind
it.
of messy sounding.
Very much so.
And the police investigation was not the greatest.
Okay. All right.
And her defense team is good. Like, they're renowned attorneys and stuff.
Is there a ghost in this room?
No.
I think
She
so.
says that all the time. No, is the
There
cable dropping?
is.
Yeah, there's not a ghost in this room, you
Live
guys.
on the scene. There's a fucking ghost in here.
But there's enough there that's like, okay, what the fuck is going on? There's also, it gives me a lot of OJ because
Yes.
there's even these elements of like one of the police officers in text messages to like his buddies were like, oh yeah, we nabbed that bitch. She looks crazy, blah, 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 blah.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he calls her a cunt at one point.
Shit.
Yeah. And he gets grilled. In the first trial, he got grilled about it.
Okay.
About these text messages, and he was one of the investigating officers.
You were like, around her, she was being a cunt.
Oh, okay.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah. I definitely suggest watching that documentary, but I kept it as an honorable mention because I have a feeling this is just going to be one of those cases that everybody is going to be.
It's going to be a whodunit, like forever.
Chiming in on and constantly trying to figure out like what has happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Are you ready to move? Do you have any other mentions?
Nope. That was
Do you have
good.
any mentions off the top of your head?
No.
Okay.
Not off the top of my
That's a
head.
good one.
Yeah. So we're going to dive in. We're going to start with number 10. Do you want to start or would you like me to? So you can start.
Sure,
I've been
I'll
chatting for
So you
a while.
each have your own 10?
We each have our own 10.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're going to go back and forth. We're going to count down from
Okay.
10 to number 1.
Oh,
Big number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1.
What was that show? The Most Extreme. Do you remember that? The Most Extreme.
Wait, MXC? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
That's what I was thinking of, but that's not what she's
It
talking
was
about.
on
Okay.
Animal Planet, and it was
Oh, yeah.
Extreme Predators.
Yeah.
It was like really 3D and extra.
Yes.
I loved it. They have a
Yes.
history version that I've been watching. It's on like Hulu. I'm obsessed with it.
Really?
I do watch MXC at night sometimes.
What's that?
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. That's the one that's like the Japanese physical game
Yeah,
show
I
that was
love
dubbed
that
over by
one.
these
Yeah.
two guys and put on Spike.
Oh, the best.
Yeah, it's really good. It's
the
really good.
best.
Anyway.
That's a good one.
Number 10, girl.
Okay, number 10. So we were talking about this earlier, and yours are like ranked.
Yes.
Mine are just, I had so much trouble narrowing it down. Mine are just a list. So I don't know.
Did you keep your number 1 as your number 1?
Huh?
Like was your number 1 your number 1?
I don't think I have a number 1.
You just have 10.
I just have 10.
Oh my God, Rachel. This is so typical.
Don't yell at me.
So typical.
Oh my God. It's
Only
fine.
listening to half the directions.
I listened. I just disregarded it.
I know. Okay, fine. All right.
No, it was just so that like it's hard for me to like be like I'm more interested in this one or more, like they're all so different. You know what I mean? She's like, no.
I know. I do, but I ranked them.
Yeah, you did.
I did the homework.
Oh my God. Wow, who does homework? So my number 10, this one we'll all definitely recognize is the Manson family murders.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was one of the first ones where like I as a kid was like, oh my God, I have to learn everything I can. about
Oh,
this.
yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So for those of you living under a rock, love you. The Manson family was one of the most famous cults of the late 60s and early 70s. At its peak, it consisted of about 100 followers, but it had a very close-knit like internal group.
Okay. An inner circle.
Right, very much so. So
Yeah.
they were controlled by the leader, the very charismatic and fucking crazy leader.
Oh my God, he's
Charles
insane.
Manson. I'm so glad he's dead.
Insane.
Yeah,
I'm so
dude.
sorry. That's
He's
probably
insane.
not nice, but
I
fuck that guy.
mean, I'm pretty sure they like found him that clinically. Yeah.
Like crazy old
Like this can't be
swastika
like
head.
some crazy defamation or something.
Do you remember that he got married in prison before he died? Some
he?
lady
Yeah.
who was writing him fan mail, who was like way younger, married
Yeah.
him in prison.
Yep.
And then he died. Yep.
What did she look like?
I don't even know.
Crazy.
Do
Yeah.
All right then.
I remember because I was like, is she like a babe?
so weird.
No, not
No.
really a babe. Looks kind of like a cult.
Yeah.
member.
Oh, of course. Cool.
Very, like,
cool.
long hair.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
very much so. It was me.
Yeah.
Manson controlled a lot. Like one of the things that I find so fascinating is that he manipulated his inner circle, what they called the family, with a combination of like psychiatry and psychoactive drugs. So he would
Okay.
give them acid and LSD and break down their personality systematically
Oh,
until
shit.
it was like, you're
That's
not
some
your
government
own.
mind control
Yeah,
shit.
it is.
That's some MK
Yeah,
Ultra
that's-
shit.
it is.
Yes. Until it was like, you're not your own person, you're a part of me. And you have to do what I tell you to,
Oh,
which is
shit.
have sex with me and also kill people.
Great.
Oh
Love
And
my
that.
they were
God.
like,
Love that.
okay. It's fun. It's like, it's interesting that it's so connected to the very like flower child, Hayden Ashbury,
Yeah.
like 60s, 70s movement, but it's
Yeah.
this horrible, dark undercurrent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one has just like given me chills.
Oh my
whole
God.
entire life.
It's I you know what, that one does hold a little place in my heart because I still am very interested in that whole 60s 70s
Absolutely.
counterculture movement.
Yeah, dude.
Like the Haight Ashbury and all that, like
Yes.
Woodstock,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh my
Altamont
God.
Speedway, the whole
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
It's all very interesting. So that definitely
piques your interest a little bit.
What am I trying to say? Yeah, it encompasses the spirit of the end of that era very much.
Yeah, it's like a decade stamp.
Did either of you ever watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes.
No, I don't think I did.
It was so satisfying.
Do you like Tarantino? Are you?
Yeah, it's a very Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's really good. But it's
they changed the ending. Of the case.
It's
really?
basically about. It's sort of about the Manson family.
Did you ever see Inglourious Bastards?
I have never seen that.
I don't think
It's
so.
so good.
Maybe?
It's so good.
I don't
not seen
remember.
that.
Because in that movie, Tarantino also changes history where like it's sort of presented like this is because a lot of it is based off of real things that happened. Like a lot of the characters in the movie are based off of real people.
Okay.
And it's in World War II Germany. But by the end of the movie, spoiler alert for Inglourious Bastards, it came out like 1,000 years ago, don't yell at me, they kill Hitler.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They have this whole plot and they kill Hitler.
Nice.
So
Interesting.
The Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's kind of like a surprise. Like the first part of the movie, you don't know what's going to be about the Manson family, and then it's like, wait, is that Sharon Tate?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
All of a sudden, it's they're rolling up to murder Sharon Tate.
Oh, my
yeah,
God.
it's like
I won't spoil it.
No,
but it's not.
You should watch. I think you might like it.
Sure.
But
I'll watch it.
it's very
silly.
Tarantino.
Yes.
but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you? I don't want to like.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was the Manson family.
Okay. So my number 10, mine are actually ranked because I know.
Because you did your homework.
Because I did the homework. I understood the assignment. My number 10 is Michael Peterson and the Staircase.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
remind me what this one's about
about to-
again.
Yeah, so this was previously not on my list.
Really?
Okay.
Yes. So Michael Peterson was accused of murdering his wife Kathleen on
Okay.
December 9th, 2001. He was arrested, charged, and convicted in 2003, but 8 years later, he was granted a new trial after a
Okay.
judge found the prosecution witness gave misleading testimony.
Oh.
He fought these charges for a lot of years, and then he entered an Alford plea for manslaughter,
Okay.
which was he was sentenced to time served and then released.
Okay.
Okay. So this is another case where he was accused. He continued to maintain his innocence. His wife was found. So basically, they were drinking by the pool
Okay.
one evening.
Okay.
And she went up to bed. He comes in, finds her at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, no.
In the basement?
No, like their bedroom was like on the upper floor.
Oh, okay.
So like on the main floor.
Okay.
Finds her at the bottom of these stairs, like blood everywhere, barely breathing. Calls 911.
Yep.
She dies on the scene,
Okay.
and then he was accused of her murder, of beating her to death, essentially. During his trial, I had mentioned this earlier, actually, with Karen Reed, because during Michael Peterson's trial, it was made into. He let this French documentary crew come in,
Okay.
Yeah.
and follow literally his whole life, like
Wow.
during the first trial.
Okay.
And they followed him the entire time through 2017.
Wow.
And the whole thing was made into a mini series. You can find it on Max. It's called The Staircase.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. This is like the French documentary, which is very interesting, really good. And they would release the chunks
Is it
of
in
it.
English or in French?
It's in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's in English.
All right.
But it just follows him and his attorneys and everything they did in his home with his kid, like everything.
Okay.
In 2022, this case came up again because HBO released a dramatization miniseries called The Staircase that starred Colin Firth and Toni
right.
Collette.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
Also,
Toni Collette.
super, super good,
Yeah.
by the way.
Okay.
Yes.
Watch that.
Very, very
Love
good.
Toni Collette.
But there's a lot of facts about this case that are like, they just kind of don't seem real. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, they're very out there.
Oh, like the owl?
Like, okay, yeah, if you want to go there.
Yeah, let's
The
fight.
owl theory.
Stupid.
That she got attacked by an owl on her way into the house that
Of
scratched up her head,
course.
and she died from blood loss and fell down the stairs. I think it's just as plausible as anything else. I've talked about
Like
something.
it flew in through the second story window and attacked her
No.
when
Like
she was
as she
upstairs?
was walking from the pool where they were like drinking and hanging out into the house.
Okay.
She got like attacked.
So
by
she
an owl.
didn't fall down the stairs.
Well,
Oh, so we don't know.
if she got attacked by the owl and walked up the stairs and then had enough blood loss, she would have fallen down the stairs.
Oh, okay.
If that sounds stupid, it's because it is.
No. We hard disagree on this.
I feel like owls' claws aren't sharp enough to cut
They
skin.
fucking
So
are. They
Owls
fucking
like,
are.
They got talons
Yes.
for sure. I just think it's dumb.
Okay. What do you think?
I am pro owl theory. I'm very pro owl
the other
theory.
girlfriend he had like millions of years ago who also fell down the stairs and died. Was that
Okay,
also
so
an
hold
owl?
on. Let me get there.
Was
Oh,
it?
so this has happened before.
So there's a lot to this case.
Oh.
It was actually his first wife.
That's right.
It was
I
his
couldn't remember
first
if it was his
wife
girlfriend
in
or not.
Germany.
Oh.
Had kind of she like also fell down the stairs, died in very similar circumstances, but at the time they were also like not really investigated.
Right.
So there's that. There's like his sort of secret gay escapades that were sort of like brought to light. And this question of whether Kathleen knew and was allowing it. Yeah, they took his computer and like found a lot of gay porn. And he said he's openly bisexual. He was a novelist.
Okay.
Like he like I don't know. Like, there's a lot to this case that's, like, kind of weird because then it was a big question whether she knew that he was, like, out having these affairs with men and if that was, like, a point of contention in their marriage.
Maybe he was having an affair with the owl.
Oh, my
And
God.
it was like, you bitch.
Oh, my God.
That's my man.
Yeah. There's also, like, the whole thing with his relationship with one of the French... It was, like, the editor of the of the French documentary. Yeah, she like was editing the film. The way they portrayed in the miniseries is she was like editing the film and sort of fell in love with him. And but they in real life they did kind of like get together in the middle of the first part. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah. They're not together anymore. But
that's suspicious.
Yeah, I just think this is a very perfect example of we're never gonna know like what really happened. Yeah. Like
I know.
There's so many questions, sir. They're honest, but like there is enough things
okay,
that's
so
like.
if you're against the owl theory, what theory are you for?
I think that he killed her and pushed her down the stairs.
Okay, all right, just checking.
I think it's one of those like Occam's razor things to me where I'm like that kind. This has already happened to him.
Yeah.
He's like a dick.
Yeah.
He's having all these affairs, which like whatever.
Yeah, I do honestly land.
Occam.
Yeah, yup. It always works.
I do honestly land in the I am not sure
No, totally. And
category.
It's a
Like
weird
I am
case.
not sure
There's a lot
one
of
way or
weird
the
stuff.
other.
That's a super valid pick.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your number 9?
I'll do my number 9. Oh my God, 1111, make a wish.
Oh gosh.
Okay, my number 9 is another kind of famous, kind of historical one, and this one is going to be Bonnie and Clyde.
Ooh, okay.
Clyde, Bonnie Elizabeth Parker and Clyde Chestnut. Barrow.
Why did they? Was that like a nickname or was this his actual middle name?
That's his middle name.
Chestnut.
Chestnut.
Oh my God.
You got to
Like
say
the
it with
nut.
like an Old West accent.
Chestnut.
Who's the other Chestnut? Isn't Joey Chestnut the other Chestnut?
What?
The food eater. The food guy. Am I wrong?
How's Joey Chestnut?
Joey.
That sounds
is that his name?
like a mobster.
I know.
Joey Chestnut.
He is an award-winning
Put you in the
American competitive eater. He always wins the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Oh,
Joey Chestnut.
that guy.
Yes.
That old
Is he from the Deep South too?
Joey Chestnut. I'm imagining like tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
That is so cute.
No, he's from California,
Oh.
Oh my God.
where they eat hot dogs.
Love that. I eat hot
Anyway.
dogs too. Obviously, we know Bonnie and Clyde. They were American outlaws who traveled with their gang during the Great Depression, robbing, killing people, robbing banks, busting each other out of prison.
Yeah.
There's
Casual
always-
Thursdays.
Yeah, whatever. It was just like a little road
Just
trip.
a way to unwind after work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They were ambushed by police and killed eventually in Bionville, Louisiana.
Beyondville.
It's like Bien, so it might be Bienville.
Oh, Bienville.
Okay.
Oh, I just researched something that happened there.
Wait, no, I love when that happens, where it's like,
I think for a future episode, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, keep going.
okay, well, pronounced correctly, that's where they were killed. I think that, like, the crime itself is super interesting, but the news attention around it, like how crazy, like when they were killed, they put, like the car with their bodies in it, like on the back of I think a truck, and like paraded it through. People were running up and grabbing pieces of her hair,
What?
pieces of her dress. There are
This was at a time where that was not uncommon, though.
Absolutely.
Because we've definitely covered cases where there was like a murder in the house and people from the neighborhood were like showing up and like, I'm going to take a spoon or like go in and grab like a chunk of clothing or
The car is still on display, like bullet riddled. You can still see blood. It's like super morbid, like the morbid fascination. And then the fact that so I love a good anti-hero folk hero. These were not them, but that was definitely the public perception.
Gotcha.
Listen, you and I, Vicky, are I feel on different sides of respecting the law. Not different sides of the law.
Yeah.
I'm not an outlaw.
No.
But like I love I get like the whole Jesse James thing, and especially like in the Great Depression when nobody had any money, and I get the like rebellious factor of it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, but they were dicks. They just killed people for no reason.
Yeah.
They sucked.
Oh God, yeah.
And I love the whole thing. People tend to assume that Clyde was the leader. And if you look into it, it was very clearly Bonnie. Bonnie planned most of their heists.
Who run the world?
Squirrels.
Squirrel.
Chestnut.
Squirrels and the chestnuts. I like it because it's such like an old Westy crime, but right when the media was starting to like get huge.
They were crazy in that day too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
very everything was like sensational.
It was very sensational. And it's sort of like continued to this day as like, and it's interesting what it like represents to different people. There's also a Broadway musical. It got canceled. It was okay.
What was it called?
Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh.
Well,
it's not bad. It's not bad. It had Laura Osnes. It's not bad.
I don't know who that is.
She was Cinderella.
In
Cinderella.
The movie?
No, on Broadway. You know who Laura
Nerd
Osnes
alert.
is?
Nerd alert.
Okay, sue me. Yeah, that's a good one. Ever since I was a kid, I was like, ooh, Bonnie and Clyde. Pew, pew.
Pew, pew. I know, you're into that whole sort of like western-y gangster.
I have to be.
Are you into that at all, Wani?
The western-y gangster?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that very niche.
Not really. But like,
me neither.
I'm aware of them at the same time. You know what I mean?
That's because your dad is very into westerns.
Yeah.
Maybe it was too much when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And you're like anti-western now.
I'm not anti-western. I just am not pro-western either.
It is very particular. I had a theater job where I worked in it's gone now, but it was an Old West themed.
Oh yeah,
park.
we've talked about this on the show before.
Yeah.
Donley's.
So it's like in my blood forever.
Oh, for
I
sure.
was just talking to one of my coworkers the other day because they used to play the soundtrack of the park. They did not own the rights, but they would play old like Marty Robbins songs, very like cowboy kind of. And I was looking it up for her the other day because she's like, who sang those songs?
Yeah.
And it's so nostalgic. Very Red Dead Redemption.
No, thank you.
Oh,
No, it's
yeah.
cute.
I can see that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
I do like Red Dead though.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I'm so
but it's
bad
only
at
because I
it.
like to ride the horse.
I can't even tell you how many times I've seen her just run into objects in Red Dead.
It's so true.
And like fly off of her horse.
I'm terrible at it.
They were in her way.
She killed herself running into a telephone pole once.
Yeah, I definitely did do that. That did happen. Listen, I'm not a master at video games, okay? I'd never claim to be a pro.
The mechanics are hard.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to my number 9, which is previously my number 10.
Ooh.
John Wayne Gacy.
Ooh.
I knew this would be on there.
Yeah.
Such a good choice.
Yeah, this has always been one that I've been interested in.
Well, it's local for us.
It was the first like major research paper I did in high school in Peter's class.
Oh, Mr. Peter.
Yeah, you got to do a research paper like first thing freshman year, and I did mine on John Wayne Gacy.
Cheerful kid.
Yeah, so if you're not, I'm not going to go like super into depth, but if you're not familiar, John Wayne Gacy was a serial killer who raped, sexually assaulted, and tortured at least 33 young men and boys between 1972 and 1978 in Cook County, Illinois. He stored a majority of the bodies in the crawl space of his house. He's most well known as Pogo the Clown, wearing the clown costume at children's parties and fundraisers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not great. Much of his artwork also made a splash on the murderabilia market? What do you get? You got.
I have a.
You had a wind up.
So this is like just a thing. I watched a video where a guy who was like a former corrections officer at the prison where he stayed, one of the prisons where he stayed, who claimed that he never painted one of those pictures. He paid other inmates to paint those pictures for him.
Yeah.
So that he could sell them.
Wow. I'm pretty sure he painted some.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
But like, yeah, he definitely was contracting that out.
The guy was like, it was like a factory. Like he was just like, oh yeah, get those and then you can have a percentage. Like he was a businessman.
Yeah.
That's
and how
crazy.
many of us have, like, I feel like we have, between the three of us, have talked to so many people that were like, oh, my aunt or my mom's friend like lived next door.
Yeah, like 3 degrees of separation or whatever.
I worked with a guy one time whose mom had like been pen pals with him.
Oh, wow.
And he had like sent her this stuff, but which I'm like, I don't need that in my life.
Yeah,
No.
I worked with a guy. I never got to talk to people. I wouldn't know what to say, but somebody told me once that an elderly man in a place where I worked around here, his brother was one of the victims.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And I was like, ugh. She was like, you should ask him about it. I'm like, no. That's crazy.
No, that's okay.
I don't think I will. That's okay.
That's a pretty big.
Like, whoa.
That's a pretty big ask.
For real.
Bring that up. Oh, how are you doing today? So, heard your brother was killed by John Wayne Gacy. What do you want to tell me about that?
Tell me about that.
Tell me about that.
With a pen and paper. Tell me.
Awkward.
Like how
Do you mind if I record this?
Yeah, because I've been recording.
Please sign this waiver. Oh my god!
Right?
Yeah, no.
It's touched like so many lives around here.
Yeah, I will say he was put to death in March of 1980.
Bye.
He spent 14 years on death row. He was put to death by lethal injection at Statesville Correctional Center.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it wasn't. He was sentenced to death in 1980. He was put to death in 1994.
Okay.
The last update that I have, and this might have changed, is that in July 2017, investigators used DNA evidence to identify one of the 7 remaining unidentified bodies as 16-year-old James Byron Hackinson, who's a missing boy from St. Paul, Minnesota. I think there may have been 1 or 2 more since then.
Oh, really?
That they've been able to identify
them all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, there was so many. Like he threw people in the river.
They were like buried in his backyard and stuff.
Yeah,
too, right?
that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was not just the crawl spaces a lot of people had originally thought.
Yep.
His final words before his execution were "kiss my ass." Mm-hmm. Cool. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that is like. That's almost the one that like sparked my interest. That was really the first one that I did like research into. Yeah. Rachel.
Hi. So mine. Hi, how are you? My next
I just caught her
one,
texting. I just want to say that.
I'm not. I'm looking at my screenshots.
She was looking at Reddit.
I'm not. You're such a liar.
I'm such a little shit stirrer today.
You are.
We bring out the worst in her.
I've been watching a lot of Housewives, and I think you need to be the villain of the podcast.
I want to do that.
Be the villain?
I'll be the villain.
Oh, no. It's fine.
I'll be the villain.
We don't need a villain. It's okay. We don't need a villain.
I don't know what I did to you, but I'll take a Pinot Grigio. My next one. Well, we already talked about her, so I'll do Eileen Wuornos.
You can say who was your next one.
I didn't rank them.
I know, but who was the one that you skipped over? It's fine if we have matching ones.
Casey Anthony.
We didn't talk about her.
No, I know.
Oh.
We already talked about Eileen, so I was like, well, I'll just do her next. Because I didn't rank them.
Oh,
you know what
I see.
Yeah, no, it's
okay.
cool.
Okay.
Cool. I'll do Casey Anthony. No,
you do whatever order you want to do it in, Rachel. Don't let me.
I feel like you should save your favorite one for last.
You should save your favorite one for last.
I am.
Okay.
I will. Okay.
Don't let me change your mind.
Put a pin in it. You can't. I'm a little tired today. The case of Casey Anthony. I feel like that, I really want to call it the case of Kaylee Anthony, who is the child. Casey Anthony is the mother. But really, this is about Kaylee.
Yeah.
And I feel like this case has been super relevant recently. Did you see she got a TikTok?
So can you just like give me a 30-second refresher on the story?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I can. Kaylee Marie Anthony was a cute little toddler in Florida. Her mom, Casey Anthony, was a dick.
Okay.
Kaylee
just out
was
here wilding.
just living her life, getting tattoos. On July 15th, 2008, Kaylee's grandmother reported her missing. And then it turned out that she had already been missing for like a month.
Oh, shit.
And Casey had not called the police.
Okay, this is not the story
anybody.
I thought it was. I'm so glad I asked.
No, good. I'm glad I said something.
Yeah.
She had not seen the child for 31 days.
Oh, my God.
Casey fully lied to the police, not only about that, but like she at one point, they were like, okay, let's figure out like what your life's about. Where do you work, Casey? And she was like, I work for Universal Studios. And they were like, that's sick. We'll go. So they called Universal Studios and they were like, she does not fucking work here.
Oh, wow.
And then she took the police to Universal Studios and was like, I'll introduce you to all my coworkers. It was just kind of like, like running around. And then she was like,
so weird.
I don't work here.
Oh, my God.
So she lied about that.
Yeah.
She lied about like, they were like, so where was the child? And she was like, she was with a nanny. And they were like, what was the nanny's name? And she's like, Zanny. Zanny the nanny.
Zanny?
Yeah.
Zanny.
Which, by the way, is the street name for the drug Xanax, which is what many people believe is what happened. She would, according to many people that knew her, she would drug the child so that she could go out to go party. Right.
Oh, my God.
So it's like she's with Zanny the nanny.
Oh,
as
shit.
in she's asleep in the trunk of my car.
In the trunk?
Which is where they found evidence of human remains.
Ooh.
They eventually found Kaylee. It's like, I watched, because it's been so popular on TikTok recently, I think I sent it to you. I watched, somebody went on Google Earth and showed like where their actual house was and then where Kaylee's body was found. Okay. And it took like 2 minutes to get there.
Really?
You could walk there.
Wow. That's crazy.
So there was all kinds of stuff that came about it. She ended up, she never admitted to anything. She ended up accusing her father at one point that he did this. He did not do it. The poor grandparents the whole time are trying to find the child.
Right.
Yeah. Her and her parents do not have a good relationship.
Gotcha.
Well, they have no relationship now. They did an interview kind of recently where they were like, well, we think that she killed her and put her in the car.
Right.
Like, very much.
Yeah.
They're like, she did it.
Yeah.
And it was sad because they tried to support her through a lot of the court and she just made herself unsupportable.
She's out here lying.
Yeah. This is one of those cases where, like,
frustrating.
I'm not
it's
as committed to being impartial as I probably should be.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm just like, how could anyone? It was, and I say this very rarely because I am not a legal eagle like you.
Yeah.
This was a bungle. This was a bungle.
So,
the court did nothing.
What was the verdict of the court?
Not guilty.
Really?
Correct.
Yeah.
She was banging her defense attorney.
And then she became really good friends with O.J. Simpson after he got out of jail. And they were like, we're trying to be out here, people falsely accused. Then he died. And then she got a TikTok. And she's like, I'm here on TikTok as a legal advocate. I've been active in the legal field for 12 years.
Wait, that's my favorite part is like, she was like, yeah, I've been a legal advocate for 12 years. But when she said it started, she wasn't a legal advocate. She was in court for murdering her daughter.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not the same. Being on trial for murder is not
in the legal system. Is
you
not...
and I lie on my resume.
Yeah, right. I worked in the legal system.
She's trying to sue TikTok now.
So she was found not guilty of murder?
Correct.
But was she found guilty of like other things?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, they just kind of like threw it out. Yep.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Florida.
Yeah, indeed, dude.
That's such a huge case, but it like I think about that every day. Yeah. I get so mad. You're searching chloroform on your mom's computer. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, dude. It wasn't good.
I'm mad.
It
I'm
wasn't
mad
good.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, he's Casey Anthony.
So what are we? I mean,
it's kind of the same name. Fuck you, Casey Anthony.
Yeah, there you go. So we are on number 8. My number 8 is previously my number 9.
Ooh.
What's gone up?
Andrea Yates.
Okay. I knew it.
Andrea Yates. I know. I'm like very predictable. But
that's a good one.
If John Wayne Gacy was like the first litle dip into the true crime pool, Andrea Yates is the second. Yes. So the following year, after freshman English, we had to do another research paper, and I decided to do mine on Andrea Yates.
Of course.
Yeah. So she...
So cheerful.
She lived in Houston, Texas. She was the mother of 5 children. She had been treated for postpartum depression and psychosis. And then after the birth of her 5th child, she seemed to fall deeper into this depression. There's also these religious aspects to the case where, her Andrea and her husband Rusty were followers of this preacher named Michael Peter Warrenecki, who was like
Crazy.
Christian.
Yes.
Okay.
But like crazy, like
Okay.
I don't think they were like end times revelationists, but they were. It's like
very
that
extreme.
vein.
Gotcha.
Very like if you do bad stuff, you're gonna go to hell immediately. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
Right.
Yeah. I think it was one of those skirts only for the girls households too.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Like that type
Very
of
gender norms.
Gotcha.
But like very, very extreme, hard beliefs.
Yes.
On June 20th, 2001, in between her husband leaving for work and her mother-in-law coming over, Andrea Yates drowned all 5 of her children in a bathtub.
Oh my God.
She was initially convicted of first-degree murder with the sentence of life with parole in 2002, but in 2006, a Texas Court of Appeals reversed that decision and instead found her not guilty by reason of insanity. And she is living the remainder of her days at Caryville State Hospital in Caryville, Texas. So she's just going to be basically institutionalized.
Yeah.
For the rest of her life.
For the rest of her life, yeah.
What's really sad, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Go ahead.
I've heard that she's on antipsychotics in jail, which is it's so sad to me because it's like now she knows what she's done and she has to live with it. And I don't think it was her fault.
Yeah, I don't think it's a really tough one because she definitely was in like a psychosis, but like
it sounds like it.
Yeah. And there was these mounting tensions in her marriage and like
I hate her husband. If he has no haters, I'm dead. Let me take my wife who is suffering out of our house and move us all into a bus with her 5 children. I'm going to work. Goodbye.
Yeah. It was,
and the doctor was like, "Don't have any more children." He was like,
"No,
well,
please.
You're pregnant again. More children now."
Oh my God.
Yeah. Basically,
So she was pregnant with the 6th when she murdered the 5?
No, but he just kept knocking her up.
Oh, okay.
Postpartum depression and psychosis and stuff, all of those like pregnancy related things get worse if you have more children.
Oh.
I'm glad we have someone who has kids here.
Okay.
I'm the
to know
expert.
this stuff. Yeah, you're the parenting child expert.
I have been fertile, yes.
A little.
Just a little. Just with 2.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my number 8. She was like that was the second case that I
That's a fascinating case.
in high school at like 17.
Just a good Christian girl.
So a Christian girl drowning her kids. Yeah, no, it's sorry to my English teachers. I was probably a weird teenager.
They were like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
This girl
I wasn't
is
talking about her. I was talking about
crazy."
you.
No, I was just talking about me. I said I was probably a weird kid.
Probably.
Yeah. They probably thought I was so fucking weird. Yeah.
Is this number 8 or 7?
7.
7. Yeah.
Number
okay.
7.
Number 7 is, we already mentioned her, but I could not do any list without mentioning my girl, Eileen Wuornos.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Oh my God. She was born February 29th, 1956. And she was a prostitute. She had a horrific upbringing, very, very bad, to the point where when she was 9 and 10, she was being like a prostitute on the school grounds, like for cigarettes and for money. She was sleeping in the woods. Every adult man in her life offended against her. And she just sort of naturally led into prostitution. She had no education. She didn't know what to do. And she ended up, how many was it? 7? Yeah. Shot and robbed 7 of her male clients on the streets of Florida. She was convicted of the murders and sentenced to death by lethal injection.
Okay.
I think she also spent, 10 years on death row.
Yeah. Yeah. And she did a lot of interviews in that time.
Yeah, she did. There's a lot.
And there was a whole thing about her getting adopted, I think, too, by in her
supporters.
Yeah, there was like this couple that had adopted her in her 30s or 40s or whatever.
Yeah, they were
it was
trying to
when-
take care of her.
Yeah.
That's a man.
It's a wild.
We'll argue about that case. I believe
Why?
her. Well, because I believe her.
About what?
I think that all of those men offended against her.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but...
We argued about it before. Maybe we didn't.
No, we've argued about a lot of cases. we have argued about a lot of cases. Yeah, I don't disagree, though. I do think they likely offended against her.
That case makes me so upset. I'm so upset because I'm just like, I feel
They should have set her free.
That's what
given her a gun.
That's what I feel. Like, keep going. No, yeah. I feel.
Vicky's like,
so what? Is it a loss? No.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is like I am never gonna endorse murder.
No, and I agree with you
as a resolution to any problem.
Fundamentally, I agree with you, Michael. But realistically, I'm like, why could they not have helped her? I'm like,
and that's like she definitely did have some mental health things that needed to be dealt with for sure. For
absolutely.
To me, her case is really indicative of a failure of the system.
Yep.
And then they're punishing her for it. I'm like, well, what was she supposed to do?
Exactly.
Like, if you've ever seen...
She was set up for failure.
I completely agree. I'm like, what could she have done?
Yeah.
What could she have done?
Yeah.
If you've ever seen the movie... Oscar-winning Monster with Charlize Theron.
I have not actually seen that. I need
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It really showed like she was actively like trying to get a job, like trying to fit, but she just had no idea. She didn't have a social security number. She didn't have all of this. She just didn't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that even if, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. Maybe some of these 7 men were delightful and kind. But I think that she was put in a bad situation. She had all of these mental health issues where everyone had offended against her. She may have believed it to be the case. Like maybe I think at least a few of them absolutely tried to hurt her. And she was like, I'll get shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that she was put in this position where she couldn't differentiate between...
Yeah. And she did have a very like deep hatred of men. And I'm not saying that isn't justified. I'm not saying that wasn't justified for her, but like, yeah. I there's a lot to it that's like, there's a lot of extenuating circumstances that really just...
It's like an onion. There's so much nuance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I will always... I just feel so sorry for her.
Do you know her final words? I have them.
Wasn't it, I'm going up to the mothership and I'm going to come back like Independence Day?
It's that's pretty close. Yes, I would just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th, like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back. I'll be back.
Did she mean like the Rock?
Dwayne the Rock.
Yeah. Like she's coming back with the Rock and God. Is that what she's saying?
Can you smell?
I think it's more to be like a Rock of Christ.
Oh, okay.
Reference.
That's the thing too. Is a lot of people. This is my theory. This is my sneaky little theory about the whole thing. Is a lot of people are like, she says all of these outlandish things and she'll say all these crazy things on trial. And I do not think that she was crazy in that sense of where she's like, I'm gonna come back with the Lord.
No.
I think that she was playing it up because something I didn't mention is she committed a lot of these crimes with her girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that the girlfriend probably did a little more and was a little more aware of what was going on. But she was the only person who had ever treated Eileen with kindness and with love, even though she turned on her in the end, bitch.
Yeah. So she was protecting her.
I think that she was protecting her. I think that she had nothing to live for without like her love. And, she's in trouble. So she's like, well, just kill me anyway then. I think it was very that. So I think she would say outlandish things on purpose.
Yeah.
Which really makes me sad. It's sad to watch, like, once she knows that Tig turned on her, there's such a change in her behavior where she's like, I'm requesting the death penalty.
Yeah.
Just take me out back and shoot me. And it's like, well, obviously you're sad.
Yeah.
But she needed help.
Sad. It's a little sad.
I'm sad about it.
I don't endorse the murder, though. I just got to put that out there.
That's good. No, definitely not endorsing murder, but I think it's understandable.
As soon as I heard that,
I know. It's sometimes it gets a little contentious up in here, honestly. Just a little. But I still love you, girl.
Yeah, I love you. We'll box afterwards.
Yeah.
We'll have a little fight on the porch.
Yeah, right. So we are on number 7?
Number 6, I believe.
No, you just did number 7.
You're number 7. Okay,
I'm to do number
my
7.
Left. Your left?
Yes. So my number 7, previously number 8, is Bernie Madoff.
Okay. All right.
That's a good
some
one.
white collar crime.
There
right?
has to be white collar.
I was going to say how many
Yeah.
of these are going to be legal. I love it.
Yes, there is. Listen, I have just like a little affinity in my heart for white collar crimes because people are out here trying to scam.
They do be scamming.
Yep.
Scammers be scamming.
Yeah.
He was doing stock market scams, right? Is that what I remember?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like stock market and investment
Yeah.
scams. And honestly, like you cannot even talk about modern day fraudsters almost without bringing up Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
He's an innovator.
He's like the OG
Right.
Scammer.
fraudster.
Nice.
Yeah. And I've heard his name come up a lot in comparison to Elizabeth Holmes.
I have too.
Yeah. And yeah, it's crazy. So
true.
there's so much to the story. And because frankly, I am not a financial person, which cracks me up. You think by like now,
I would think you would be.
By now I would have learned some of these things to understand white collar crime better.
It's complex.
Yo, I don't know finances. I don't know how this works.
Girl, the amount of legal stuff you have to explain to me every week.
I know. So
You're good.
the highlights, Madoff is a former non-executive chairman of the NASDAQ stock market, stockbroker, investment advisor, financier, and owner of Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities. He's also the confessed operator of the largest Ponzi scheme in world history.
Oh, wow.
And the largest financial fraud in U.S. history at an estimated $64.8 billion.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Now that may have changed. I forgot to double check, but it's definitely one of the largest.
It's still going to be
for
up
sure.
there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Largest Ponzi scheme in the world,
That's
in world
nuts.
history.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's Ponzi as fuck.
On
Yeah.
March 12th, 2009, he pled guilty to 11 federal felonies, including securities fraud, wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering, making false statements, perjury, theft from an employee benefit plan, and making false filings with the FEC.
They frown on that.
They frown on that. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison.
Wow.
And he had to forfeit $17.179 billion in assets.
Wow.
Wow.
He was incarcerated at Butner Federal Correctional Institution, and he had a projected release date of 2139.
Okay.
But in April 2021,
Here we go.
he died while in custody.
Okay.
He did.
didn't make it.
He did not make it.
Okay. I thought you were going to say he got released for good behavior. Or something.
there.
No, definitely not. He died from chronic kidney disease.
Okay.
I mean, he was not a young guy.
No, he wasn't.
If you want to know more, I definitely recommend listening to a podcast called Ponzi Supernova. And I think
Okay.
there is also a Madoff documentary on like Netflix.
Okay.
That was pretty good, if I remember correctly. This is just, again, he's like the OG Ponzi scheme doing it big time.
Yeah.
He did so much fucking damage to his family and his
Yeah.
relationships.
Really
He had a
sad.
son that committed suicide.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe, I'm like
Oh, how
95%
sad.
sure that's accurate in the wake of all of this.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. It was
awful.
like massive fucking fraud.
Wow.
But also, it is massive fraud, right? But like, they literally threw the book at him and
Yeah.
gave him 150 years.
I was going to say it's
for
really
financial
enormous.
crimes.
Right.
But on the other hand, there were these people that he was bilking out of money that were like elderly, regular people trying to invest their money.
Right.
So like that are now
Because
like
at the time, it was like a pretty prestigious firm, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, he told everybody
Yeah.
that it
Right. It
was.
seemed
Yeah.
like squeaky clean.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
Poor people.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah. So
What a douche.
I know I always, with financial crimes and white collar crimes and stuff, the sentencing is the thing that I always, because
Yeah.
a lot of the times I'm like, I feel like the sentence should be more. Like
Yeah.
typically
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish they would have gotten a longer time
Right.
because financial crimes are serious. And a lot of
Yeah,
times,
just because it's not violent.
And most of the time,
Right.
it's like 7 years.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
like
it's
10
like
years.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great. So what?
and I do feel like a lot of these hit people who are older and, you know, just have good intentions with trying to invest money or whatever. But like it tends to hit just like average people.
Right.
In this case, though, like 150 years.
yeah.
Wait, was it a state case or was it
It's a federal.
case? Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they wanted to make an example out of him too.
For sure.
Like,
Oh,
do a white collar
1,000%.
crime.
1,000%. 1,000%. But I don't know. Just
It's
150
super
years seems a lot.
interesting.
It seems like a lot. Anyway,
No,
so that
I
was
agree.
my number 7.
Yes.
Number 6.
Number 6. This one's the one that I think you'll know about it. I don't know. It's like a little.
Have you known a lot of these or no? We're almost
recognized a majority of them.
Okay.
A lot of times it's like we'll hear the name and I'm like, I swear to God, and then I'm like, that's a completely different one than I thought.
And the Casey Anthony one was not the one I was thinking it was.
Well, do you know what the one you were thinking was?
It was like, I think it was like a family on vacation and the adults were like outside eating dinner at like 8 o'clock and then like the kid got taken out of the
McCann.
Yeah, that's the
Madeline
story.
McCann?
Yes.
That's the one I was thinking of.
That one makes
the Casey
me
Anthony
really
one.
sad.
Yeah, that's an interesting case too. God, I didn't even think about that. Now I feel like I need to. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Might revise my list really quick.
She was almost. I think about her a lot. I think about her a lot, but a lot of my thoughts are more on the realm of conspiracy theories.
Of course they are. Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah.
My number 6 is going to be the case of Terry Jo Duperrault, who was named the Sea Orphan.
Okay. I know that last name sounds so familiar.
You're gonna know it. 11-year-old Terry Jo Duperrault and her family, her mother, her father, and 2 of her siblings, rented a ship called the Bluebell out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay.
They were going to go on like a nice cruise with this super nice and cool captain, Julian Harvey, and his wife.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, this is all like super fun. We just don't know how to sail, so we're getting this captain.
This is all coming back to me now. Okay.
It's all coming back to
I think,
me.
did you cover this on the show or no?
I did not.
We might have covered this. I think
I wouldn't be
previously we
surprised.
might have covered this one on the
I'm
show.
sure you have.
Yeah.
The photograph that comes out of this is like a super, super well-known photograph.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry, I got you off track.
No. I'm never on track, honestly, to be real with you. We're lucky I'm awake. On November 12th, 1961, poor 11-year-old Terry woke up after a normal night at sea to find members of her family had been killed. There was this whole scuffle on the deck where she was like, there must have been some incident. I don't know what's happening. She's trying to help the captain who's like, here, let me help you. We have to evacuate this boat. Hold on to the rope for the lifeboat. But she was 11 and confused, and she let go of the rope and he dove in after the boat and left her on the boat. So he escaped and left her. Of course, spoiler alert, it turns out he killed everyone on board.
Except for her?
Except for her. He had it's kind of weird. He had pointed the gun at her and then pointed it away.
Yeah.
And I think he just kind of figured she would drown.
Yeah.
But there was a little jetty that she was able to get on.
Okay. Was the boat sinking?
Yes. He sunk the boat.
After he killed them all?
Yes.
Okay.
So he was doing it for money and because he was a douche.
Okay.
But then 3 days later.
Wait, did he kill his wife too?
Yes.
What?
Yes, he did.
Holy
he
shit.
Killed everybody, and they were children, the little. It was so sad. And when they found him, he was on the lifeboat with the body of one of the children. He was like, "I found her in the water.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
just
don't
bringing
like
her
that.
back." And
He
then
was trying really hard to fool everybody to be like, "Oh my God, we got attacked." Blah 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 blah.
He was like, "Oh no!" And then they, I think a cruise ship saw her, the little girl, floating in the middle of the ocean.
Wow.
We're like, who are you? And she was so shell-shocked that she couldn't, I don't think she could speak for a little while. So they were just like, well, come on board and then we'll figure it out. And when she eventually told, he was about to be convicted and he killed himself. But this is just a little thing. So he was in interrogation because they were like, this is kind of weird. When he was in interrogation, that's when they found Terry Jo, and she was able to tell them, he actually killed everybody. It was not a sea accident.
Yeah.
His response was to exclaim, "Oh my God," before quickly and calmly adding, "Isn't that wonderful?" and then he drove to his house and killed himself.
Yeah.
But so she survived. I believe she wrote a book. But there's
such a wild story.
It's
so
sad.
wild.
One of them snapped a picture of just this tiny little girl just floating on this little thing in the middle of the ocean.
Wow.
I remember seeing that picture in a book when I was little and being like, what? And so they call her the Sea Orphan, which is
That's crazy.
It is one of these like iconic like true
Do you
crime
have the picture?
pictures.
Can I
Let
see the
me
picture?
see. Let me get it. I thought I did, but now I can't find it.
Uh-oh.
Where is that picture?
You can probably get up on your mic a little bit
I got
better,
it.
Rachel.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Or move it back.
Oh.
Look at that little tiny girl.
She's just vibing in her
so
little basket.
sad. She'd been there for 3 days. She
Oh my
drank
God.
rainwater. She couldn't eat anything.
Oh my God.
And I know that she did a lot of interviews. I'm not sure if like she wrote the book or if there's just like books about her experience. But it is interesting how she talks about how she survived. Like luckily it was only 3 days and the weather wasn't super extreme. But there is this sort of non-specific spirituality where she's like, I felt like something was keeping me alive. And I'm like, I'm like, well, dang. I wouldn't have lived, girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have been so bored.
I would have
3 days in the ocean by
Bored.
myself.
I love that your concern is I would be so bored.
I would be.
She's like, oh man, I should have grabbed my chess set. Fuck. Now I got nothing to do.
Chestnuts.
There would be no Wi-Fi.
Lame.
No.
It's okay. My phone has satellite now.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh god. All right. Okay.
I can still text. I'll be
all that
fine.
matters.
Yeah.
My number 6 is a case that we've talked about
Okay.
many, many times. Oh. And this is not a change from last time. Kept at the same spot.
Okay.
Robert Durst.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I thought that this morning.
I know.
Well, that's such a good one.
Yeah. And have you seen The Jinx?
The Jinx?
It's
On
a
HBO,
documentary on
I don't
Max?
think so.
Okay.
So
you
good.
should.
Listen, your list of
You
shows
really
for me
should.
to watch is already so expansive.
I know, dude.
This is all your fault.
Yeah, I know. I know. But that was like, The Jinx really came
like
out
my
of
TV guide.
Yeah, kind of. You gotta remember that I literally watch like 8 hours of TV a day.
I love it.
While I'm working from home. So
I watch children's TV.
Yeah.
Because I have to.
yeah.
I know.
So
Feel sorry for me.
The Jinx came out at a time. It's a documentary on Max. It came out at a time that like the true crime genre was really like on the upward incline.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This was like Serial had just come out at that time. Like the podcasts were really starting to kick off.
Yeah.
And The Jinx was like one of these documentaries that Max put out that was really like put them on the map as far as high production value, good, engaging content.
Right.
So I definitely recommend it. But there's a ton of incredibly interesting aspects to this guy, Robert Durst. He's been suspected in the murders and disappearances of at least 3 people.
Oh, wow.
The first being his wife, Kathleen McCormick Durst. She disappeared in 1982 under very suspicious circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did an investigation, but she has never been found.
Okay.
And nobody had been charged in that. Kathleen's family, of course, believe that Robert Durst is the culprit,
Right.
and there's a lot of evidence that points in this direction.
Yes, there
Right.
is.
But they hadn't filed charges at all.
Okay.
Then more recently, he was charged with so he was charged as a result of The Jinx being on HBO.
Okay.
He was charged in the murder of his like friend and confidant Susan Berman.
Okay.
Because of the hot mic moment.
Oh, the bathroom
largely.
hot mic moment?
Yes.
That's what you're... Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
this guy.
You've told me about the series.
Oh my God, I talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy
It is
moment.
crazy. And that specifically is
Yes.
like, oh, hot mic. Like that set the tone for hot
them
mic
all, of
moments.
course.
Yes.
what?
Yeah. So
Don't say that.
he
Your mic's on.
Your mic's on.
Come on. Amateur.
she was murdered in December 2000 and he got charged
Right before Christmas.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, he got charged and was convicted in 2021.
So he got to have Christmas.
Yeah. A lot of them. Many of them. He's a dick. In fact.
Fuck that guy.
21 years of Christmases.
Oh,
I hope
wow.
they
Yeah, yeah.
sucked. I hope he didn't get anything.
Yeah. So this was like when I first talked about this in episode 53, again, that was 2017. So this was
Yeah.
like an ongoing case.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the in all of this, the most legally interesting one is the murder and dismemberment of Morris Black.
Okay.
Durst was actually arrested in this case.
Oh.
He was charged with murder. He was arrested after they found Morris Black's body parts floating in Galveston Bay.
Oh my God.
But during
that's some evidence.
Yeah. During the trial, he claimed self-defense, saying that they had gotten into an argument. And
got into an argument. I need to chop this dude up.
Yeah, that's what innocent people do.
Well, he was not charged with dismembering the body. That's not the charge. He was charged with murder.
That's crazy.
What happened after the murder is not what he was standing trial for.
Oh.
So he was found not guilty.
Oh.
Yes.
Of murder.
Yes. Which he did. He like fully admitted to dismembering the body. He's like, yeah, I did that, but it's because I shot him in self-defense and
gross.
I got like nervous. I know.
I think I would be more nervous to cut somebody up.
Which again makes it the most interesting legally, because like they did
I can see how like the self-defense thing would be argued like against the murder charge, but what was the intent with the chopping up the body?
Right.
It doesn't matter. He wasn't on trial for
so dumb.
For like desecration of a corpse is a different charge than
sneaky,
murder.
Tricky.
I know, it's crazy. So anyway, so all of these things have been happening around him. He's also like
who brought up these charges?
He's also the son of a real estate mogul, so he's like crazy wealthy. Anyway, so since I wrote all of that originally, like I said, he was charged and convicted in Susan Berman's murder in 2021.
Okay.
He had already been found not guilty in Morris Black's murder. And then shortly after he got a life in prison sentence for Susan Berman. Shortly after that, they charged him with Kathleen's murder.
Okay.
In 2022, the very first person in his orbit that went missing.
Okay.
And they still have not found her body.
Really?
So crazy. Like to this day, they haven't found nothing.
But unfortunately, he died before he was able to stand trial.
Really?
Yeah. So he was charged in 2022. It was like not long after that he died. And again, a legally fraught thing because he had not run out the appeals on the Susan Berman conviction. That conviction was actually vacated.
Crazy.
Really?
Yes, when he died.
Wow.
Goddamn legal stuff.
So basically, he died getting away with everything.
Yep.
Which is insane to me.
Especially because it's like this crazy, like he obviously admitted to it.
Right.
And it's like he didn't face any. So crazy.
Yes. Yeah. So I definitely recommend that. Now they have done a season 2 on like the Susan Berman trial, what happened after the documentary, because he like went on the run and then was arrested in a hotel room with a bunch of guns.
Again, that's
that's what a normal
Yeah. And also, by the way, he's like good friends with this guy who sat on the jury in the Morris Black case, who's like bringing him things in the hotel room. And like it's
God.
Yeah.
This is messy.
Yeah. Have you watched season 2? I know you said you watched the first 2.
I haven't seen season 2
Yeah,
yet.
season 2, it's like, it's just a lot. It's a lot, but would recommend.
Hillsides along the highway.
It was as if a wave of evil washed over this town.
We are all evil in some form or another.